People are afraid of being overwhelmed by suffering. And they lose their hope, their courage, and so on. There must be a way to live in order for you to be strong enough, in order to handle the suffering inside of you. And if you don't know how to handle the suffering inside of you, you cannot help another person to suffer less. And that is why the practice of mindfulness, first of all, is to help you yourself to suffer less. First of all, you have to learn how to release the tension in your body, how to reduce the pain in your body. And the practice of mindful breathing, mindful walking, sitting meditation, total relaxation can be very helpful in reducing the pain in your body. And then with the practice of mindfulness, you can learn how to generate a feeling of joy and of happiness, or of happiness. And this can be done by anyone if we want to learn. For instance, when you breathe in, and if you focus your attention on your in-breath, and then you can bring your mind home to your body. And there is the energy of mindfulness, concentration in your in-breath. And you realize that you are alive, because someone who is already dead doesn't breathe in anymore. So one in-breath that may last 3 or 4 seconds can create mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And when the body and the mind are together, you are established in the present moment, in the here and the now. And you can get in touch with the wonders of life that are available in the here and the now. And with that kind of mindfulness and concentration, you realize that you are lucky enough, luckier than many people. You have enough conditions to be happy right now, right here, and you don't have to run into the future to look for happiness. And that happens after 3 or 4 seconds of practice of mindful breathing. You get the insight that there are conditions of happiness that are available in the here and the now. You are very lucky, you are alive. Insight can happen just after a few seconds of practice. And the fact that you can recognize and embrace your pain can bring you a relief. Because the pain is a kind of energy, and mindfulness is another kind of energy. This energy, embracing the other energy, will produce a kind of change, like a mother holding her baby. The baby suffers. The mother does not know yet what is the cause of the suffering of the baby, but the fact that she's holding the baby tenderly can make the baby suffer less right away, because there is the energy of tenderness from the mother penetrating into the body of the baby that brings a relief. And if she continues with mindful holding, and she will find out the cause that makes the baby suffer, and then she can change the situation.
If you try to control the variety of situations that may pop up in your face tomorrow morning, all that'll happen is you will become a very limited life. You would step out into the world and do whatever that needs to be done only if you have an assurance, no matter what you walk into, you will not lose yourself. You will walk full stride, otherwise you'll only be a half a step. Most human beings are half steps because the fear of suffering. If this happens, what'll happen to me? If that happens, what'll happen to me? If you're well managed within yourself, you know how to manage your thought, you know how to manage your emotion, you know how to manage your body, your chemistry, your energy. If you know how to manage all this, what does it matter if you walk into hell, I'm asking? If you are well managed, if you are a heaven within you, what does it matter where you go? Hell also will be an interesting place to go. But if you are ill-managed, then you want to be in a nice place all the time. You will not step out into anything. I'm not saying this is wrong, this is against nature, because in nature, every life is aspiring to be as much as it can be, isn't it? Every life is naturally aspiring. This is not a philosophy, this is not an ideology that you must do this or that. It is natural and intrinsic for every life that it will do as much as it can. From an earthworm, from a worm to an insect to a bird, to an animal to a tree, every one of them are trying to be full-fledged life. If you go against this simply because of the fear of suffering, then all possibilities of exploring the nature of being human, the tremendous immensity of being human is just lost upon humanity. Today, you will see this everywhere. When people say, I am only human, they are talking about the limitations of being human. They are not talking about the possibilities of being human, isn't it? If we are the most intelligent species on the planet, if we are the most capable species on the planet, should we be talking about our possibilities or should we be talking about our limitations? Whenever anybody writes or says, oh, we are human, they're always referring to their limitations, never to the possibilities of being human. This is because the most fundamental things have not been taught in our education systems, how to handle your thought and your emotion. Your psychological drama has gone out of control. It's a badly directed drama, believe me. If it was a well-directed drama, you would take it to the conclusion that you want, isn't it? Because it's a badly directed drama, just about anybody can take charge of it. Who is the director of your psychological drama? Just about anybody, isn't it? Anybody can make it into a tragedy.
How do you know your dream is your dream? How do you go after something that you don't know if it's actually meant for you or not?
Great question. I think the number one thing to do is to build the mini dream first. So before trying to go off on this huge journey of building this humongous dream, build the mini version of it and see what it feels like. So if you want to be someone who travels across the world and performs, travel to one city and perform. If you want to be someone who's in movies, go and film a short movie, right? Like go and build the mini version of that dream, because that mini dream is going to teach you so much. Like I'll give you an example. I know so many people who say to me, I want to be an actor. And I'll be like, okay, great, well, let's make a short movie. And when they make a short movie and they realize they're up at 5 a.m. every day, and that they're in the studio or on a set till 10 p.m. and they realize the set is not very glamorous, that they realize they have to say the same line 30 times before the director says that line is okay, they realize they don't want to be actors anymore. Because what we've fallen in love with is what the dream looks like and not what the dream is. So my biggest advice to anyone, including myself, has always been build the mini dream, and the mini dream will teach you everything you need to know about whether you're ready for the big dream. It's the same as sports. If you want to be a sports player, wake up at 4 a.m. every day, go to the gym for 2 hours a day. Like do the actual schedule, do the actual process of the person who's already doing it. So I always say, look at what people were doing when they were at your age, not on the stage they're at now. And do that and see whether you love that. That's how you figure it out, just on a very small level.
Affection or compassionate attitude, warm-heartedness is very, very important for one's own well-being, one's own happiness. So don't consider practice of compassion is something religious matter, or practice of compassion is something good for other, not necessarily to oneself. That's a totally mistake. So, since from childhood we already equipped this seed of compassion, we learned from mother and ourselves in order to become parent, the seed already there. Now that seed we must keep nurture whole our life. The biological factor compassion is limited, biased, and more depend on others' attitude. Now that as a seed, then using reasons, awareness, that seed, compassion, can further develop unbiased compassion. Not depend on others' attitude, but rather others' being itself. So that kind of compassion can reach your enemy or entire sentient being. So that compassion is infinite compassion, unbiased compassion, real compassion. So if we become compassionate person, then your life becomes meaningful. Because you yourself happy, calm, peaceful, your friend, or including animals, also you get peace. So at the last day of our life, you feel happy. Now whole my life now spent peaceful, friendly, then you really feel happy. Otherwise, at that moment, even you are a billionaire, those money, nothing can be used. No matter what's good, because of the good body or beautiful body, or everything have to leave. So at that time, I think genuine satisfaction can bring, if your whole life spent more compassionate life, then you feel, no regret. So, purpose of life is naturally happy life, meaningful life. So, in order to make meaningful life, ultimately, warm-heartedness is the key factor.
There were 5 men who got lost in a vast forest and were trying to find their way out. The first man said, "I'm going to follow my intuition and go to the left." The second man said, "I'm going to go right. I have a strong feeling that that's the way out." The third man said, "Well, I'm going to walk back on the same path that we took to reach here. I think that would be the safest." The fourth man said, "I think we are absolutely on the right track already, and so I'm going to keep walking straight." After the 4 men took to the left, the right, back, and straight, respectively, the 5th man said, "Well, I don't know what to do. I think I'm just going to climb up this tall tree and get a better view around before I make up my mind." From the top of the tree, the 5th man could now see what was the shortest way to the village. Isn't it a fact that when you rise above a situation and see the larger picture, your decision seems to be the most sound? Well, yes indeed. But there's a slight twist to the story. The 5th man thought that the others should not have chosen the paths they did, and that he was right and they were wrong. And from one point of view, he was right. But from another perspective, I'm not too sure. Each man had chosen his own path and gained a different experience. It's not just about right or wrong, but about gaining your own experience and finding your own path. The man who went left found a long path, but at the end, well, it led him to the town. The man who went right had to fight a pack of wolves, but then he learned how to survive in the forest. The man who went backwards met another team of hikers, and guess what? He made new friends. The man who went straight found a farm and was hosted by the family for a couple of days before leaving for the village. And of course, the man on the tree found the shortest path. The journey enriched each one of them in their own unique way. Every decision offers us new experiences, which in turn adds to our maturity and wisdom, ultimately leading to our own growth. Isn't it said that life is like an exam? People fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that each one has a different question paper, a different test. Ladies and gentlemen, walk your own path while you also learn from the experience of others.